A 5-year-old horse is ready for serious riding, but a 5-year-old donkey, not the same thing. Stick around, I'll show you how I ride and condition donkeys of 3 very different ages. Getting the groundwork going before you start to saddle up is a great way to build muscle and create that forward movement. Afterwards, starting in a round pen, here I'm in an arena, but we're just working on the basics, getting those 4 legs to move when we ask them individually. At this time, they're also building up stamina to hold us, to carry us on their back. Keep watching because later we'll also talk about guidelines for ride durations, kind of based on what we're doing and how the animal is doing with what we're asking. Donkeys mature slower than horses. A 5-year-old donkey is closer to a 3-year-old horse in mind and body. When we talk about a 5-year-old donkey, you can think of it as a 3-year-old horse. They're not filled out yet physically or mentally. So we need to condition both so they can enjoy riding. Get extra training help and behind the scenes perks. Join as a member today. Let's meet my 3 saddle donkeys, each at a different stage of training, so you can see exactly what this looks like. Mental maturity increases with age and experience. Check out Shamus with his first time ever sorting cattle. He moves around in there almost like he owns the place. Now keep watching because we're also going to be talking about how much time to spend on their back as they're getting conditioned for all of this stuff. You're not going to want to miss that. Now this is Honk the Donk. She's 7 years old and she has gone cattle sorting once. And then she also participated in the Ty Evans cattle class. And now she's actually helping gather cattle for the next sorting event. Her ability to move up on the trail, handle the mountains, all of this is increasing now that she's 7 years old. And next we're going to compare Wild Donkey Ah, and she has done 2 cattle sortings and the Ty Evans cow clinic. Later I'll show you her 3rd trail class. I hear what Dan's up to is there's 3 of them standing in a circle around the cows, and they're just trying to keep them there so they don't move or they get lost or run off in the mountains. So just 3 of them, and one of them is a donkey, guys. 2 horses and a donkey keeping the cattle where they need to be while they wait to be able to put them into a pen to bring them to the horseback riding group so that we can use them for cattle sorting. Dan never imagined that he would be doing this with his donkey, and he is pretty excited that he was able to go and actually be useful with his donkey gathering cattle. Now we have 5-year-old Wild Donkey Ah, and just check out how hesitant she is walking in here. Keep watching, and we're going to compare the 7-year-old donkey and then lastly the 5-year-old donkey. Getting forward movement from your donkey is something I get asked about quite often, and building confidence in here with Wild Donkey Ah. There's not a lot of expectation here. We're just helping her learn that she's going to be okay, that I'm not going to ask her to do anything that's going to hurt her, and asking and then leaving her alone, helping her learn when she does what I've asked. I'm just going to leave her alone, like right there, guys. Remember, they learn when you leave them alone, and leaving them alone doesn't mean you have to stop. So we're going to monitor how long we're on their back, especially depending on what we're asking. So if we're off in here trotting and really working hard and she gets worn out, she's not going to ride. She's not going to want to ride. So we're going to talk more about how much time to spend on their backs. Keep watching as we go through here, building up Ah's confidence. Helping your donkey learn that the cattle will move away from them is a great way to build up their confidence. So what I've been doing in here is just simply walking towards the cattle, and then as they walk away, I stop asking Ah to do anything, and eventually she'll learn that she is so big and strong that they move away from her. If you ever have the opportunity to go move cattle, I highly recommend that you do it. But you also saw Shamus, who is 19 years old, and he moved them just fine He's not quite confident enough to walk in between them yet, but he's completely comfortable being out there. The white donkey, Shamus, that was his first time ever sorting cattle, and his confidence has come from many other things that we've done with him over the years. There's a lot of ways to build up confidence, but this one is a really good way to do it if you get the opportunity. Whether you have a mammoth donkey or a large standard donkey, a mule, these tips are going to help you build a long-term sound partnership. Maybe you're wondering if you have a younger donkey that's big-bodied and still building condition. That's where Honk the Donk comes in. She's 7 years old and about 15 hands. So keep watching. She'll be coming up soon. Now, is about 13 hands and almost 700 pounds. So she can carry me, but I like to keep her rides under an hour. At clinics, we go longer, but there's a lot of standing around. On the trail, she steps out beautifully, but downhill, she's still learning balance and coordination. So how long should you ride a 5-year-old donkey? Let's break that down. Start with 20 to 30-minute rides, build up to an hour, not every day. Longer clinics are fine if there's downtime. Remember, conditioning takes time. Keep watching. We're going to talk about a big mistake I see riders make with young donkeys. Now, during the 3-day Ty Evans clinic for the cow class, Ah was really starting to free up her feet and be okay with moving. But we went to the next cattle sorting event, and Ah really started to freeze up. Each day we have to just work with the donkey that we have. Even if they did good one day, we have to be okay with them not doing good another day. And that's part of building up their confidence. Now we're going to keep talking more about building up their strength and stamina as they start to age, as right now, Ah is the equivalent of a 3-year-old horse. When it was time to go into the parade, Honk has already done 2 parades, and we know she's okay. But Ah showed me that she is not ready for a parade yet. Remember, we're comparing a 5-year-old donkey to a 3-year-old horse with their mental and physical abilities. Now, Honk at 7 years old, she's sorting cattle, she's riding in parades. We're getting the trot for a little bit longer period of time, and now it's time to try some bridges. Now we're going over this bridge, and she starts off good, but keep watching to see what happens. Honky Donkey doesn't care about the bridge. She cares? She cares. But she's doing it. All right, at this moment, Honk decided, oh no, we're not doing that.
Shamus
so we
did it.
switched and put Shamus in front, and of course I wasn't videoing then. But when we did that, here's what we did to help. Almost across, you're gonna be just fine. You did it, Dan.
You did it.
Good job.
Yay!
Yay. Now Dan was nervous that she wasn't going to cross. He felt pretty confident she was not going to cross. So I started singing Soft Kitty. If you guys comment if you know about Soft Kitty. Now I did that just to help the heart rate go down, because when you're nervous, your donkey knows it. Now another thing that I like to do to help condition is to work on ponying. If I can bring her on pony rides or to be ponied with me, that's really going to help build up her muscle. Now, when you're doing this, you don't want to drag them. So we actually did the first trail ride where I did end up by dragging her, and I'll add some footage of that. That's not my goal. And we're going to talk about that more in another video about mindset versus what your training goal is. So on this day here, we spent an hour and a half and we went 100 yards. I'm riding my old horse Stormy, and all we do during this whole ride is just do circles, and then I offer for her to go straight. And this just tells me I need to work on her leading skills more. But the reason she's so hesitant is because she's nervous to be alongside my horse. Many of you might not know this, but donkeys are often afraid of horses. So here I offer for her to go straight, and then as soon as she creates slack, then I'm going to give her a break. At the end, she starts doing a really good job, but we did spend an hour and a half and 100 yards. So do what your donkey needs. And again, we're going to have another video upcoming about mindset and how much that makes a big difference. Look at the slack in that rein now. Oh my gosh, I was so excited that we're doing that.
So much better.
Yay!
Yay. Thank you, Hannah. So much better. Look at how close she is to Stormy.
So brave. Good job, Aw.
Aw.
Here's the first time taking her on a trail ride and ponying her, and you can see how resistant she is the entire time. We want slack in that lead rope. And again, watch for later on. I'm going to have an upcoming video about mindset because that makes a big difference. And you can see we've come a long ways. When we first start riding our donkeys, their rides could be 5, 15, 30 minutes, and that's it. And you can see how slow it is. But even now walks much faster than that. But when they're nervous, a donkey's go-to is just to kind of freeze. But now look at she's out on the trail. Sometimes we were in the front, sometimes we were in the back, and sometimes we were in the middle. She did a really good job on the trails, stepping out. That.
The death cloud behind her.
We're riding right beside each other. Like
Here we're working on her mental maturity.
Look at her trucking along with that mule.
she's a cheetah.
Hey lady, nice cheetah.
Because gets nervous about horses and mules, we're working right here just on riding beside each other to build up more confidence. Now, when they're on the trail, they can handle close to an hour's ride at her age. But if we were in the arena working on trotting, we want to make sure she's getting enough oxygen and not getting herself wore out too much. So in the arena, we would stick to about 20 or 30 minutes. But if we're just walking along, especially on the trail, like it's totally fine to go for an hour. We don't want to ask them to keep up with horse before they're physically and mentally capable. Now, Shamus, our steady old reliable, he finds the arena very boring. When we go on trail rides, he starts off pretty close to the same speed as the other horses, but then as we turn around, the other horses tend to go faster as they know they're going back to the starting point, and Shamus seems to slow down. We always come in a little bit behind the other horses, but not too much. And again, we're going to have another video later on this week or soon that's going to be more about your mindset as far as riding your animal with other horses or mules. Want to thank our most recent members and invite you to join as a member today. I'm here to help you along your journey. So to recap this, a 3-year-old horse is equivalent to a 5-year-old donkey. When we're riding a 5-year-old donkey, we're going to keep their rides between 30 minutes to an hour, depending on what we're doing. And then we're going to be working on stuff, not just in the arena, because they find that boring. Get out on the trail, practice your moves out on the trail, and keep it fun for them. We can add new things like bridges. Is not ready for bridges. We just crossed the marker signs on the ground on the tar, and that there was a big deal for her because it was so intimidating. I didn't get any footage of that. Honk the Donk, we started at age 5. Now she's 7. So we've slowly conditioned her, and now she's able to hold a trot for a little bit longer. This is quite different than what it was like when it took 20 minutes to cross the wild pen. And then Shamus, he's old and steady. He does a good job. And in order for him to handle more strenuous rides, he would need to be conditioned again. If your donkey has time off, they're not being rode, not being worked with, and then you go to start riding again, they need to be reconditioned. So we're always looking out for their muscle, their strength, and stamina. We're going to start with the 20 to 30 minute rides, especially in the arena, build up to an hour, not daily. And then clinics, we go a little bit longer. Clinics, sometimes I'm sitting on their back for 3 hours. I'll get off whenever there's just a lull and get back on, but they're not moving a lot. They are getting used to carrying us though. When you're out on the trail with other horses, don't ask your donkey to keep up right now because you're just going to wear them out and make them sour to riding. You'll know when they're able to handle more and keep a faster pace. But until then, just help them be okay with not being with the rest of the group. Fatigue will kill the enjoyment for both of you. So what's the big takeaway from all of this? A 5-year-old donkey is like a 3-year-old horse. Keep rides short, condition slowly, and you're going to have a steady partner for decades. If you want to see more donkeys versus horses comparisons, I'll link my other videos right here.